Today we are drafting from the 104 in a 12-team format. Let's get into it. Starting off with the 104, we're going to be going through and taking Puka Nacua. Now, I know that Jackson Smith-Njigba and Amon-Ra do look a bit more appealing. Currently, Puka dealing with the injury as well as possibly a suspension for the stuff that he did in the offseason. I will be honest, I think that the offseason stuff isn't going to be a big issue here. If you have players like Rashee Rice and Josh Jacobs who aren't getting suspended, I don't see why Puka would be. The injury is definitely a bit more of a concern, but he has been dealing with them throughout his career, and he's still pretty productive. So I think you definitely shouldn't pass up on him even with these things. He's still going to be pretty productive and easily a top 3 wide receiver this year. So we'll be taking him here at the 104. Looking at the board, typically what you see happening so far, nothing too out of the ordinary. Now, at the 209, I would like to take a running back, but you see Derrick Henry and Kenneth Walker. If you've seen my draft video, you know that if that happened, you should be targeting the best wide receiver available next. And looking through it, who is available, we're going to be taking Nico Collins here as our second wide receiver. So not the best start, if I'm being honest. Not what you really want to be starting off with 2 wide receivers, but there's no point of reaching for a Jeremiah Love or one of these other running backs when you have value in a wide receiver like Nico Collins. So we'll be taking Nico here. And then looking through at the running backs that are available, we will be taking Javonte Williams. I've spoke about Javonte Williams in all my videos. 15 points per game last year. He's going to be productive this year. He's in a high-powered offense. He's easily a running back 1 in my opinion. Definitely a lower end running back 1, but still a running back 1 that you can comfortably draft and keep as your running back 1. Now looking at the board, we see a big run of the wide receivers. We also see some of the running backs coming off the board, and looking at who is available, I'm going to go and I'm going to take Travis Etienne Jr. I know a lot of experts are a bit out on Travis Etienne this year. I think he's going to be pretty solid. In all honesty, I think he's a really good running back, and he will continue to be productive. Not worried about Alvin Kamara or anybody else really eating into his production. So we'll be taking him here and securing our 2 running backs, which again, I think with 2 elite wide receivers, these 2 running backs are definitely not too bad of an option. So we'll have them as our running back options. Now, in the 5th round, looking through at who is available, the receiver is not too eye-catching if I'm being honest. So I'm just going to go and take DeAndre Swift here in the 5th. Another solid running back, produced 14 points last year. I still think it's going to be the same type of production this year. So taking him here in the 5th, definitely a bit earlier than where he usually goes. But in my opinion, I think it's not too crazy to take him here. So we'll take him here as well. We don't want to reach on one of these quarterbacks. If they do fall to us in the 8th or 7th round, possibly. But looking through who's available, we're going to target running back or wide receiver. And seeing the running backs that are available, I like the upside with Jadarian Price in the 6th round, so we'll be taking Jadarian Price here. Looking at quarterback now, if Jalen Hurts was able to make it to us in the 7th, I would have taken him, but since he is not here, we're just going to go and take tight end, and I'm going to take Tucker Kraft. I love Tucker Kraft this year. I think he's going to be really good, really productive, so him in the 7th round is a no-brainer for me. I think that his ADP for his production is really solid. Now looking in the 8th round, we're going to go and take a quarterback. We see a pretty good stretch of them here. I actually like Trevor Lawrence. I think he's going to be pretty good this year. So we'll take him here in the 8th round and know that he's going to be pretty productive. Now this is the point in the draft where we're kind of drafting our depth, but also kind of that upside in the depth. So looking through at who is available, we have a pretty good amount of running backs. And typically I would target a player like Kenneth Gainwell, but we only have 2 wide receivers right now. So we're going to try to get wide receiver. And looking at who is available, we see Stephon Diggs is here in the 9th round. So we'll take Diggs. Him as a wide receiver 2. Could easily be battling for the wide receiver 1 spot over there. So we'll definitely be taking him there in the 10th round. Now looking at who else is available in terms of kind of quarterback, wide receiver, running back. Out of all the wide receivers that are here, the only ones that really do catch my eye are going to be players like Jaden Higgins, Jalen Coker, which if you want one of them, maybe Jalen Coker isn't too bad. I don't really want Jaden Higgins because we have Nico Collins. So we'll just go for another running back here. We'll take Jordan Mason. I think there's some upside there with Jordan Mason, so we definitely could secure him there. And then I guess we'll go and take Jalen here as our 11th pick. Again, another wide receiver that has pretty good potential, I think. Not really 100% on Ted McMillan this year, so I think Jalen Coker could be pretty productive any given week. It's more of a up in the air type of situation. Now in the 12th round, looking through at who is available, if I'm being honest, wide receiver wise, it's really nothing too appealing. Looking at our team so far, we have a pretty good flex. We also have a pretty good bench. So looking for kind of defenses, see the Pats. Maybe if the Pats are available in the 13th round, we'll go for them. I'll probably go and take Patrick Mahomes here. I know Patrick Mahomes, his actual ADP is like the 10th round right now. Last I checked, he's going in the 10th. But there's a chance he falls, and I think that his upside is really nice, especially name value as well. He's definitely a player you can store in your team and kind of keep. And know that he will be productive. Now, looking at we're in the 13th round. On the 14th round, kickers are probably going to be starting to come off the board. So I'm going to go and take the best kicker in the league, Brandon Aubrey, here in the 13th. And it looks like they're still going for defenses and kind of running backups. If we're being honest, like Ray Davis, Vidal, James Conner, like all these guys are not going to be pretty productive in fantasy. These are waiver wire players, but Brandon Aubrey, best kicker in the league, so taking him there isn't too bad. Now, we do want a defense, so we'll go and take one of the remaining defenses. Vikings are pretty good this year. I think they're going to be pretty productive, but I'm going to go and take Jacksonville Jaguars. I think they're going to be a bit better. I like their schedule also, so we'll take the Jaguars as our defense. And now we're going to continue to get that depth. We're going to take Chig, another really high upside tight end. I think he's going to be pretty productive. And then for the 16th round, we'll go through and take another wide receiver. We have room for one, so why not secure a player that could be pretty productive? And looking through at who is available, there's going to be one player that we want. That is Zachariah Branch. Again, I really like Zachariah this year. I think the upside is definitely there. Him being the wide receiver 2 on the Falcons. Drake London gets injured. Zachariah can become pretty productive. So, looking at our team, we have 2 elite wide receivers in Puka and Nico Collins. We have Tucker Kraft as our tight end, who's going to be very productive. Javonte Williams, Travis Etienne. Again, not too big of names. They're not up there with like the Saquons and the Achans and all that, but they're definitely really productive, kind of more low-key running backs that will easily average around that 15 points per game range with a pretty decent ceiling, which honestly, that's all you really want in your running back position when you have elite wide receivers. So they're definitely players we like. DeAndre Swift as well could be around that category. Jarian Price, the upside is there. Jaguars, definitely one of the weaker defenses, but better from what we had remaining. Brandon Aubrey. Stephon Diggs, Jalen Coker, Zachariah, kind of those upside wide receivers. Patrick Mahomes is kind of just a player to store on our bench. We could start him over Trevor, or we can trade him. Chig's going to be really good. Just watch out for Chig. He's going to be a really good player this year. And then Jordan Mason also with that upside. Again, he's more of like a player you can swap around with those guys. So that's a team that you can be building from 104. Definitely look out if Kenneth Walker, Derrick Henry, Omarion, Chase Brown, any of those fall to you at the 209, definitely take them. But if not, just go for the best wide receiver that's available. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, drafting from the 104, and I will see you guys in the 105.